Hey, people, Ras out here in Singapore, and thank you so much for joining me on the Night Out podcast. As always, you guys, I am so grateful to have this platform to be able to record from pretty much anywhere in the world as long as I can find a quiet spot and to be able to publish it right away. So I'm really, really grateful for Spotify. I'm grateful for Libsyn. I'm happy that I get Netflix and I have the opportunity to listen to people like Mastin Kipp and Tony Robbins and Brene Brown. I love I love what I do. I love the information that I get. I love the fact that I have social media. And yes, I have curated my feed to such an extent that the people that I follow are the kinds of people that I would look for if I was looking for inspiration. It's not just anybody that I follow. I do have friends and family in my feed as well. But for the most part, as you know, the algorithm reacts to who you respond to, who you like, comment, and share product and content from. So I've been really lucky. I've been really diligent about curating my feed. And so lately I came across somebody, it's a page that I don't normally follow, but one of my friends posted it and I was like, wow, you know what? I needed to say something about this. So it's a gentleman named Amir Moavia. I think I said that correctly. And he says, I was standing in a public bus when a guy sitting beside me brushed his hand on my thigh. I, a full-grown man, was 100% capable of breaking his jaw with one swing of my fist, but instead, in that moment, I was frozen because I was being attacked by a million thoughts. Was it the guy or was it someone else's bag? I mean, I was mostly sure it was him, but did he mean to do it or was it a mistake? Even if he did it deliberately, why did he do that? Does he know it's socially inappropriate or not? Is he normal or is he mentally ill? All these thoughts, coupled with disgust of being possibly sexually assaulted and frustration of whether I should be angry, made it an impossible choice for me to react. On top of that, if I hated one thing the most in such social situations, that is to attract unwanted attention. I will have to explain to so many people to justify my outrage. I will also have to get out of my comfort zone. So, I would like to mention that I'm a man with no social anxiety and sufficient physical capacity to knock out an average predator. But I couldn't do it. Now, if you think a girl doesn't react after being assaulted is because she's enjoying it, you are terribly mistaken. I had to read that a couple times. I couldn't believe my ears. Okay, maybe I could, but I was so pleased and so proud that this young man actually came forward and helped us understand exactly what it felt like so that the rest of the world could understand it's not just girls, it's not just people who are of a different sexual preference than you are. It is everybody. There are so many thoughts that flood through your head. You're taking in the scene as it happens. You're noticing how many people are nearby. You know that once you say something, all eyes will be on you, and you're wondering how you're going to explain all of this. You're going to have to justify the fact that you felt attacked, and that's why you reacted the way you did, and you have to run the risk of him saying, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, the whole damn time. So what happens? By the time you get through all of those thoughts, you've probably come to the station where you need to get off anyway. And you're hoping that this guy doesn't touch you one more time. I've been in that position before. I've been in a position where I was on a train and I was holding onto the handrail, facing the door, no problem. The minute somebody came onto the train with me, and it wasn't crowded, he chose to stand right next to me, I guess because there was another handrail close by or whatever. But my instinct was to make sure that my back was in the corner between the wall and the guarding glass where the seats were. And so I was facing him. And what did he do? He turned to face me and moved in a little bit closer. Now, I didn't like the way that he was touching himself while he moved closer. So what I did was I exited stage left as quickly as I could and moved to another part of the car. I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to make eye contact. I didn't want to show him that I had noticed what he was doing with his other hand. But I felt so nervous and so uncomfortable that I just did the best that I could. I moved as quickly as I could. I moved to a place where I couldn't make eye contact with him, and I was hoping he couldn't find me either. I don't know what it is about some people. Their energy is so creepy and twisted that it could be anyone and you would feel just uncomfortable. But I thank this man for coming forward and writing about the fact that he himself, with the full capacity of his frame, his build, his weight, his ability to hit if he needed to, or swing if he needed to, and he still chose not to do anything because it was a socially awkward situation. It's not that he was scared of who he was or didn't like, being in public. It wasn't any of those things. He explained it perfectly well. He had so many thoughts rushing through his head, playing out scenarios, trying to figure out what was the best course of action, that he did not move on instinct. He did not swing on instinct, which may or may not have been a good thing, but the bottom line is, if he, a very capable person of protecting himself and defending himself, had pause for thought, he was worried about what would happen next. Can you imagine any of us women where, as it is, there's a lot of eyes on us about what we wear and how we behave? What we wear mostly because people still are of the mindset that if you dress provocatively, you're asking for it. That if you show any kind of cleavage or any kind of skin for that matter, and that includes ankles, okay, that people are allowed to see you that way and allowed to act on their impulses, which I don't think is okay. I want to bring up the fact that we're not teaching men and our future generations, women and men, that a naked body is just that. It's just a naked body. It's not meant to be sexualized, even though marketing has made it that way. I know sex sells. I know that we use sex to sell soda and vegetables and hair care products and what else? I mean, we sell we sell everything with sex, and I understand that. But the point being that my body is meant for way more than just sex. If I were to think about how long I have battled my own body issues and body image ideas. If I were to sit down and think about how long I have thought back and forth about whether or not to wear something based on who was going to be there and what was going to happen. I know so many times that I dressed to impress one specific person and I got some really weird and off-color jokes from other people that I had no intention of attracting their attention at all. And it makes me truly sad because I have children, I have nieces and nephews, I have brothers and sisters and cousins, and I can't imagine them all having to battle the same thing when their children come of age, when their wife decides to wear something that they're finally proud enough to be able to wear, that they've plucked up the courage to be, at the beach in a bikini instead of a onesie. Maybe they've found a way to just finally be happy with their body just the way it looks. All of the fat shaming, all of the slut shaming, all of the, oh, big girls are easy, all of this nonsense. I wish we could wave a magic wand and get rid of all of it, but you know what? It boils down to education, y'all. It starts with people like this young man who write down about their experience to show us that it's not just women that go through this, men go through it too. It's not just people who are of color that go through this. It's everyone. It's not just people in Asian countries. It's everywhere. I'm not entirely sure of how to go about fixing this because sexual health, sexual confidence, body image, all of that stuff is not really in my wheelhouse. I'm still battling it on my own, but I know that we need more people to come forward and talk about what it is that is appropriate, what it is that we should be teaching our children about the way a body looks, the way a body should be viewed. When people make snide comments, what should we do? Are we allowed to correct them? Should we correct them? I think so. Why not? Because if you can't correct them, they don't realize that what they're saying is off color or crass. The reason people talk about PC, right, politically correct, is because somewhere along the line we decided, oh no, that's not appropriate. We got to say something about that. So if we can do that about race, if we can do that about caste, if we can do that about, stereotypes and LGBTQ rights, why can't we talk about female bodies and male bodies? Why can't we make it so that people just see people, not as objects of affection or idols to be gawked over? Like I said, I may not be the right person to speak about these things because I'm still learning, but I do know there is a major need here in society. There is too much over-sexualizing of everything, the slightest touch, the slightest glance. I understand flirting is a fine art or whatever, but the point is you need to be able to read other people's energy as well. You need to be able to know when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate. You need to be okay if somebody rejects you. No more throwing acid in people's faces because you tried, you shot your shot and it didn't work out so well, and so now you feel rejected and humiliated and you want to get back at the person. Everyone has the right to feel safe and secure in their bodies. They have the right to feel like they have a personal bubble that they can be protected in. They have the right to speak up if they feel like you're invading their space or taking up some of their energy or are in any way threatening at all. We shouldn't have to overthink these situations. We shouldn't have to stop, dead in our tracks trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Did I imagine that or did it actually happen? We should still have the ability to speak up and not worry about what the kickback is. Because honestly, I think it's too much. I think it's gone too far. And if a grown man can feel this way, imagine what a child would go through. Imagine what they would feel if one of their teachers or one of their trusted adults acts this way. And I'm only bringing this up because I lived through that. And it is terrifying. It took me years and years before I suddenly realized, hey, this probably shouldn't have happened and it was probably wrong and perhaps I should say something about it. So please, before you jump the gun and judge anyone for their behavior, before you find yourself in a situation where you're really overthinking and wondering whether you should ring the alarm or not, please understand this is your right. If you feel uncomfortable, you have a right to say something. If you feel threatened, you have the right to do something. I don't ever want you to feel like you don't have that right. And yeah, there will probably be consequences. Unfortunately, everything is just super complicated and I don't know what to do about it, but I do know that you still have the right to speak up. You still have the right to say something. Sound the alarm. Make it known, because we are terribly mistaken if we think this only happens to women. And we are even more misguided if we think that they were asking for it in any way. I hope this makes a lot of sense. You guys, let me know if you have any questions, but in the meantime, know you have the right to make some noise. So if you feel the need, go make some noise. I love you. I'll catch you later.